Entre-SLAM is a great idea. I love the energy and the vibe.
We are going to bring up our first storyteller.
Oh, for sure.
All right, we're going to talk baseball for a minute. Not today's game. Hopefully that's in everyone's the past. So, I was a little girl, and I loved baseball. It was a really happy memory for me. I spent a lot of time at our minor league ballpark with my grandfather and my dad. I was the little kid who was there scoring the game. You don't see that much, but I really gravitated towards it. And I was about 14, and I turned to my dad, and I said, "Are there any female general managers in baseball?" He said, no, there aren't. I said, okay, I'm going to do it. So I really set out with that was my track in life. I was going to be the first female general manager in baseball. I went to college, went to law school, went to business school, really with the sole purpose of getting a well-rounded mind in order to branch out and go into baseball. So then comes time to get a job. And I'd interned, but now it was real-time employment. I applied to work for free to every single team in the league, except the Yankees. My grandpa would never allow that. But I applied to every single team. And you know what? I got rejection letters from every single team, to the point where I was collecting, it was a lovely wallpaper motif that I had with all the lovely logos and a letter that said thanks but no thanks. And I got my third one from the Detroit Tigers. I said, you know what, I'm gonna try one more time. There was another opening, and sure enough, I drove out here, and they gave me a shot. This was a day, it was May 16th, I will never forget. And I've been there 8 years now. And it was one of the most amazing experiences because I got a foot in the door. And that's what I needed. And I didn't care that it wasn't paid. I needed to show them what I could do. So I got in, and I worked really hard, and I got different jobs and different promotions. But my real dream was still the baseball side of things, thinking about being the first woman in Major League Baseball history to be the general manager. So I went and I talked to Dave Dombrowski, and I said, what do I have to do to be you? What does it take? He said, okay, all right, little one, you want to try? We'll try. So he introduced me to our general counsel at the time, and who needed help with arbitration. I said, I'm here for you, whatever you need. At the time, I had to talk to my boss, and he said, okay, yep. You can do it, but you have to do it after hours. I said, great, this is the opportunity I've been waiting for. So from 9 to 5, I did my regular job, and then from 5 till about 2 a.m., I would work and taught myself how to do this arbitration work. I spent 3 years doing this, and it was an amazing work. I loved it. I didn't mind the sacrifice. I was really moving forward. And I did this all to have about 2 years ago, I come in one day, and there's a young gentleman sitting in a seat not too far from where I was sitting, and I was told that I didn't need to help with arbitration anymore. There was a young gentleman here who would be taking over those responsibilities. That was gut-wrenching. Gut-wrenching. And I realized at that time, all right, I'm down, but I'm not out. I still got this. I still really believe in this. But I was allowed to be angry. I was allowed to feel hurt. I had spent a lot of time and energy earning this position. It was right about this time. I had been living in Detroit for about 3 years. And where I lived in Detroit was right next door to a well-known shelter called COTS, Coalition on Temporary Shelter. And I was taking walks with my dog, and we shared a yard with the Coalition on Temporary Shelter, and I would have conversations with the residents there. Primarily the women. I was drawn to them. They loved my dog. He's really friendly. So that was really building a bridge with these women that I was speaking with. And long story short, while this is happening at work, I'm hearing these stories of these women who are also feeling down and out, and that someone had kind of kicked them when they weren't looking, and they needed somebody to believe in them. And I said, you know what? This is exactly what I'm about. So this was the catalyst for starting Rebel Now. Rebel Now exists solely to employ, educate, and empower underserved women in the community. These are women who are looking for the next level. So we hire them, we give them financial training, business education, life wellness, housing resources, legal aid. We go really, really deep with the women that we hire. And this is wonderful because we all share in this journey together. This is about empowerment. This is about taking it to the next level. And everyone always asks, well, where did you come up with the crazy name Rebel Now? So that's a great question. So My amazing business partner and I spent many hours trying to figure out how are we going to come up with a great name that really is dedicated to what we're doing and was paid tribute to a really powerful woman who was a trailblazer before us. Both my business partner and I adore Eleanor Roosevelt and everything she stood for. Her nickname was Little Nell. We thought she was worthy of a little more badass nickname for everything she accomplished. That's how we came up with Rebel Nell. So thank you for your time.
To begin with the judging of Amy, I'm going to start with wherever the microphone, whichever end the microphone is. Angela is going to go first. Also, you notice I'm bringing up the, single-handedly bringing up the average of women that are called on in public settings. They're sitting on the ends, so that helps me, but I'm doing my job.
You are.
Here we go.
You're always doing your job, always brilliantly. So, Amy, I thought you did a great job. What I felt with your story was an emotional investment from the audience and from myself. I felt like, the gut-wrenching hit me too. When you're explaining sort of how that felt, and I can hear it in your voice. Sometimes I know as a storyteller that's really our nervousness that we're trying to mask in our voice, but I think for you it was really your emotional it's your emotional experience coming through. And I didn't know your history with the Tigers, so that was pretty neat to hear more about your personal history. And I loved that you explained exactly what Rebel Nell does, how the business was formed, why it was formed, and what the name meant, which was a first in our storytelling lineup tonight. Yeah, yeah. And you came in at 5 minutes and 5 seconds, so right on time, mostly.
Good job, Amy. I really liked how you broke it down and brought in the emotion and the reference to gut wrenching. A lot of people in this room have been there and you know exactly what it is. It's a great state to describe. The other thing I liked about is any good story starts with a good lead, something to bring everybody together. Let's talk baseball is perfect. Everybody likes to talk baseball usually. So I really liked that. And then your purpose was spot on, very clear. So good job.
Very good job, very good story. One thing that I felt, and this is just for me, is that to use more inflection and tone. You told the story very, very well, but slowing down and drawing me in. If you would have drew me in, I probably would have started crying. So it was very, very good and very, very good connection. But really just trying to slow down and use inflection and really trying to really take advantage of those long pauses. Another thing, the conclusion felt kind of wrapped up and felt very fast, and I know you were coming under fire at the time, so just it felt kind of rushed, and you didn't really get to connect and then finish the story as much as you wanted. But otherwise, very good story, very good purpose.
Okay, so I did cry. I just saw all the hard work you put in and all your passion and baseball, and I have women, one of my other daughters is such a baseball person. Would love to be a general manager one day, and that was really, really disturbing that you put all that in and it didn't come out the right way. And life isn't fair, and what is fair is that COTS got you because they're an amazing organization, and to have somebody like you behind them. And I think you find when you have a career disappointment, it's weird that something random, like you're walking your dog and you get to know these people, connects you to something really important. And everybody says it again and again, that volunteering gives you more than you give. But I have truly found that. You feel like you want to pay the people you volunteer for because of what you get back. And it's a lot more than I think you might have gotten back from the Tigers, although I still hope you get to be general manager one day.